Welcome to KPIP's Local Voices. I'm Rachel Steele, and with me is Joe Geist, Registrar of the Ashby-Hodge Gallery. Thank you for being with us today, Joe.
I'm happy to be here. We are happy to be opening finally after all these periods of time when we've been dark since March, middle of March. And so we're opening now right here in July, and we're really pleased to have this new opening.
And it looks great in here. The post-COVID Ashby-Hodge Gallery, you're going to love it. You got to come here. It is an explosion of color in here. And what is the name of this new show that you've got here in Gallery 3?
Well, let me say the name of the entire show, which is in 3 parts. This is the 3rd part in Gallery 3, but the overall title of the show is called The Old and the New, and that explains we are in the 3rd gallery where we get the new. We get the old in Gallery 1 and in Gallery 2. We get the new in Gallery 3.
And these shows run from when to when?
The show is opening on July the 19th, and it goes until October the 11th.
So you have plenty of time to come out and see the show. Now, Joe, can you introduce me to this handsome artist sitting right over here?
Well, sure. We're very happy having Richard Dutton with us today. He's not... he'll tell you where he lives, or you might ask him that question, because he doesn't live far from Fayette, but he has a renowned international reputation, and I love to tell the story. Richard Dutton, I love to tell the story because as he was going to do this show for us since April, he was going to have works of his in Spain at a big exposition. Ask about that. I love that part of it. I love that story. That was going to be, he had works in Spain that never got up because they have the same problems in Spain that we have in the USA, as you know.
Well, welcome to you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Joe.
Dutton.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure.
We are glad to have you here with us today as a local Missouri artist and part of the new show here at Ashby-Hodge Gallery of American Art. Now, as I understand it, you live in Hallsville.
Yes, near Hallsville, out in the country.
All right, and you are...
Too much hustle and bustle in Hallsville.
Are you self-employed now as
Yes.
an artist?
Yes. I've been retired 21 years from college teaching.
You do not look old enough to be retired for 20 years, sir.
Yeah.
What were you teaching when you were...
Well, art.
Art.
Yes.
Gotcha. I've noticed that these works, first of all, you walk in here and your use of color is amazing.
That's what people say. They walk up and say, how do you do that color? It's just one of those things that evolves as an artist. I ask artists sometimes how they do that, and they go, it's kind of a blank because they do it so naturally, they don't really think about the process. Even though I try to teach people how to do that, it does evolve.
Right. And most of these, in fact, actually all of these are watercolors. Is that your favorite medium?
Yes, I do oils and so forth, but I decided not to mix it up with the oil with the watercolor. In fact, there's a few mixed media pieces in the show too that has pastel or pen and ink or something like that in it.
And where did you get the art bug? Were you born with it, or did something in particular happen, an influence, or?
Well, people are going to like this one. I was pre-med.
Okay.
And I had to fill in a course. And I took an art course just because I'd never taken one. I thought, well, that sounds like an interesting thing to do. Well, that was the end of the pre-med bit.
Yeah, I can relate. I wanted to be an environmental chemist. Got a dean's scholarship to Alabama for performing arts, and I thought, oh, I'll just play like I'm a performing arts student and I'll go for the environmental chemistry just because they're giving me the money. Right. Oh, that lasted about a semester. With all the things you had to do to keep up the scholarship and the fact that I just ended up loving performing arts. So I am with you in that boat, sir. And your works have actually been shown across America, into Europe, and as Joe mentioned earlier, Spain. Now tell me the Spain story.
The Missouri Watercolor Society went international, and they had a show in China a couple of years ago. I was in that one. Been in a couple of shows in China, and They had one in Spain at the Contemporary Art in Barcelona, and of course, it never happened.
Oh, you didn't get to run with the bulls either,
No,
did you?
I was thinking about going over there because I've been to Barcelona. It's one of those places, fun place to go. Like most of the world, fun place to go. And so I just did receive the painting back about 2 days ago.
Oh, you just got
I
it
just
back.
just now got it back.
I wondered about all that too, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now, some of the exhibits that you've done overseas, have you gotten to go with your artwork to those places?
Well, I'm going to say no. In general.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's sad. You got to put that on your bucket list.
Yes.
Well, he has paintings here from various parts
Yes.
of the world in the show. There's one especially I'm interested in. I will go
We'll go look at that in just a second.
later,
Yeah, there's pieces from France, Germany, Dubai, India, Columbia, Missouri.
What was your favorite show so far and why?
That's a hard question. I've done so many, I don't know how, it's almost impossible to answer.
Do you remember your first show?
Sort of, yes. The first really real show, yes, I had it in, it was in Waterloo, Iowa, of all places, clear northern part of the state.
Were you nervous?
Yes, because I'd never had a one-person show at that particular time, and I was it, so that was very strange, many, many years ago.
If you had to choose a favorite subject to paint, what would be your favorite in general subject to paint? You know, some people like to paint fruit in a bowl. Some people enjoy landscapes with the water and the sky. Do you think that you could choose a favorite subject?
I would just say landscapes in general, specifically locomotives. I like old locomotives of all things.
Oh, my dad's gonna love this show.
I've chased locomotives all my life, so that's one of the things. But I like plein air painting. That's the basis of all of my artwork. And doing it right there.
So forget taking a photo of it and doing it later. You want to be right there
Well, I do.
all day doing it. Some have described the works that you have in the show as abstract and representational. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yes, and that confuses a lot of people because they walk out and say, you do both of those, what's the deal? And I've just always done it that way. I like both. I suppose in the so-called abstract, I see it's inventing a new shape and a new thing. And that's the way I look at it. And the other things, even though they're representational, they're really not representational literally. They are an interpretation of what I see. I've always told people, if you stand beside the Grand Canyon and two people are sitting and look at the same thing, they'll say, oh wow, look at that, that's really fantastic. That person says, yeah, but they don't see the same thing.
No one can ever see the same thing like another person can.
Correct.
It's just in our body chemistry. It's just the way we're made. Let's talk about your individual works here in Gallery 3. What are some of your favorite works that you would like to point out and discuss?
One across from me right now, that's my wife's grandfather in his blacksmith shop.
The man with the hat there?
He was at a local lunch place about 3 miles from me, and he was there journeying every day at noon.
Oh my goodness.
And I asked him, I said, you got a very interesting face. You remind me of my grandfather. And I said, do you mind if I photograph it? I photographed him probably for a year and just kept looking at him. And suddenly one day I was able to do that. And he passed away right after I finished the painting, which I looked really disappointing because I never got to show it to him.
He never got to see it.
He never got to see it.
You know what? I think he probably did get to see
Well,
it.
he was fascinated that I was interested that way.
I like the train. Where did you get the train?
The train is a locomotive up in Ottumwa, Iowa. It's a Burlington engine, passenger engine, which was one of the most famous series. And I like the detail shot of it, the mechanism, parts and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what it is of.
I've been to many a railroad museum, and that is very accurate, especially for being a watercolor. That is darn near a perfect drawing. My father is a huge train fan, took me on the Chattanooga Choo-Choo.
Yeah.
And you had to wear goggles because otherwise you would get coal dust in your eyes.
I've done that.
It's a fun trip, isn't it? Tell me about some of these landscapes over here. You said you liked the landscapes. I see several of them over here. Where is the mountain?
It's in Tucson.
Oh, Tucson.
Yeah. We used to winter in Tucson for a number of years, and I would do a lot of Southwest paintings. There aren't very many. There's the Lost Dutchman mine area over here on the right, which is over by Apache Junction, by Phoenix. Of course, a great mythology. I noticed there was one on Netflix about the Lost Dutchman mine, which of course has got a lot of stories that probably have no truth to them whatsoever, but people like to speculate on that. So, but I used to do a lot of Southwestern. Don't have as many this time because we just don't go often as we did.
It's too hot, especially this time of year.
But we went in the winter.
This one is catching my eye. What do you call this one? It looks almost like a forge, and it's abstract to me. Journey number 8. That is beautiful. Where did you come up with the idea for
I think
that?
the word journey is what it is. A lot of these are journeys. They go into a vision and a space that is unique, and they're to a degree based upon my travels in an abstract fashion. So that's the best verbal explanation. I'm careful to go too far, and if artist Freddie says you don't want to say too much because you take away from what they see.
Yes.
And they lose it. In other words, it's the same thing you talk about drama. If you say too much about what's going on, they lose the spirit.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. There's so much more to see in this room, though. You guys really have to come down and see this. Do you have a website or anything set up?
Dutton Watercolor, simple as that. If you
Dutton watercolors.com, and you can see a little snippet of what you're going to be viewing here at the Ashby-Hodge Gallery of American Art on the CMU campus. And thank you so much for the tour. We look forward to seeing your work when it opens this month.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And Joe, if you would please give me the details about the show again. What is the name of the show?
The name of the show is The Old and the New. And as I said, it covers in Gallery 1 and in Gallery 2 what we call the old, and then we move over here to the new in Gallery 3. And that's how it works. But remember that we do have 3 shows in this overall show, so that when people come to see these 3 shows, they're going to see the Associate American Artists, 30 artists that are represented by the AAA world, and then they come to Gallery 2, they're going to get to see works by Salvador Dali, and these are works that are part of our collection and a few that are not part of our collection.
Gotcha. And would you please, when does the show run?
The show is going to open, as I told you, this coming Sunday on July the 19th, and it ends on October the 11th.
Where can people get more information about the gallery and the show?
But they always go to our website at Central Methodist University in Fayette, Missouri, and go to our website there and see actually works from the show, and also all about the details of the show and the gallery.
And what is the phone number for the gallery?
Phone number is 660-248-6304. And then we also have 660-248-6324. That's the number for the gallery itself. The first number I gave you is for the office and the workroom, and that's where you can find our best connection, I think.
And when this opens up July 19th, what will your hours look like?
Okay, well, we're opening from 1:30 to 4:30 on Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And I must say, this is very important. We are asking you to wear a mask to the Classic Hall, and to the gallery. We hope that you will bring a mask. If you don't have one, we will furnish you one, but we will have masks if you don't have one yourself. But we're asking everyone to be highly protective, and in terms of social distancing and also wearing masks.
Definitely. Mask, social distancing, Ashby-Hodge Gallery of American Art, located on the CMU campus. That's the bottom floor of Classic Hall. First floor. And thank you both for being with me today. I wish you well on this new show, and you can catch a peek of the show and listen to this interview again online on our Facebook page at KPIP-LP Fayette. Remember, if you want art in our local community, you must turn out to support it. So mark it on your calendar. And again, the show runs from July 19th through October the 11th at the Ashby-Hodge Gallery of American Art on the CMU campus. Until next time, for KPIP's Local Voices, I'm Rachel Steele.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You're listening to 94.7 KPIP.